My wife is always, I don't know why, but she is the one that keeps me on top of things in terms of stuff that's cutting edge. So we were on top of this thing early, and over the holiday, over the break, we did some binge watching of this program on Netflix. And binge watching, it's the only program I've ever watched that led me to stand up in my den and pound my fist and say, this is unacceptable. It is and I'm not sure that it was in that exact terminology. But
I'm with you.
The language could have been more colorful.
Curtis, how do I? It's Busse, right? Is that how I'm doing this? Curtis Busse is a part of the movement looking to free these two guys. The one was 16 years old, I think, when this all went down. And it's just a travesty. Curtis, good morning. Thanks for coming on.
Good morning. No, thank you, guys.
The series is called Making a Murderer, and that's exactly what happened here. It seems as if this sheriff's department and this prosecution, and boy, what a bombshell came out of the prosecution in episode 10, but it seems like they didn't have their murderer, but they decided to make one because they didn't like the family.
Exactly. It's a lot more than that. Just not liking the family. Because they're not the cookie cutter citizen that that town was kind of looking for. They were different. They were the Averys, so to speak.
Right.
They weren't the same. But the big thing here, the motive for Manitowoc County was the $36 million that Stephen was
the lawsuit
looking for.
Yeah. So, who do you think killed this woman?
That's hard to say. There's definitely a lot of theories out there going around. I heard you say I did listen to some of your opinion on it. I definitely would not rule out an officer. They definitely had the motive for this. I mean.
Well, here's my point on this. If you can take the leap that a human being in this Stephen Avery would commit such a crime because he's human, then why couldn't someone who's human, who just so happens to be in law enforcement, do the same devious act?
Exactly, and especially one who has a lot riding on his shoulders.
Correct,
right. Filed his disposition a few weeks earlier.
And then the district attorney here turns out to be a deviant. Just incredible what came in episode 10. I don't want to spoil that for anybody, but Nancy Grace came out yesterday or overnight, and she's saying that this is a travesty. The travesty is that the program was ever made. But Nancy Grace was hammering as guilty from the very beginning, and even on the crime that this guy, Stephen Avery, committed in the first place.
Yeah, that's just foolish. DNA definitely shows that Stephen did not commit that crime, and there was evidence right away to those officers that was brought to light by other the other county officer, but they didn't care at the time, and they still don't care. They still believe you're guilty.
Are you from Wisconsin?
Yes, I live in Green Bay, Wisconsin.
All right. How do you feel? How do you feel though about the rest of the country? And you're hearing this over and over again. At least I've heard it in my circle. All I know is I never want to go to Wisconsin.
I don't blame you. This could happen to anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a really scary thought that that you could possibly be put in prison twice for something you did not commit.
Yeah.
They want you in prison. They will go any length to do it seems.
And they really use the media here, And I cannot believe some of the things that came out of the mouth of the district attorney, things that should never have made it to the public airwaves, and it did. And the judges that just allowed this. And it seems to go all the way to the top, doesn't it?
Yeah, it seems that the corruption it's through everybody. It's the judge. It's the prosecutor. It doesn't seem like it stops at any point.
Andrew.
So, Curtis, you said that you've been in contact with Stephen's niece and his current girlfriend. What are some of the things you're getting from them, in regards to his mindset at this point and how he feels about all that's going on.
Stephen seemed to be very positive about what's going on. As you heard in the documentary, kind of towards the end, that after his appeals didn't go through, that he was taking everything into his own hands, so to speak, studying law and whatnot. So he's always been pretty determined from the start. But now that he's getting over 30 letters a day, possibly that, and that was a statistic I heard a few days earlier, back. So I'm sure that's.
You imagine now it's got to be since this series. Okay, so a couple things that developed overnight. You have a petition. There's a petition online which would petition the president to pardon both Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey. And we'll talk about Brendan coming up in a second. I'm not sure you can accomplish that, but either way, you needed about 33,000 signatures as of last night. And you've gotten more than that. You're up well over 100,000 right now. So the White House has to actually make a response considering the petition. So that was a big gain overnight. Yes,
that's correct. I'm pretty excited about that, and so is everyone else. I'm seeing on the page everyone is pretty excited that they we at least have to hear an explanation of what's going to happen here, or what the next move is.
Well, and to give you an idea, the petition has gained 10,000 signatures in the last hour. That's pretty big. Okay, yesterday, big story, or this week came out of the Today Show. One of the jurors, and this part, I don't know, have you seen any of this, Manaski?
No.
One of the jurors who was on the jury.
Okay.
She has come out. Not the one that you saw in the series that was excused. This is actually one of the jurors has come out and said that she felt he was not guilty, felt he was innocent, but she feared for her safety because of other members of the jury, so she voted guilty. I'm sure you've seen that news, Curtis. That's big.
Yes, that was huge. That's got to be definitely a huge development for everything. I hope that juror does come forward eventually here, and possibly maybe even more jurors after her or she, whoever it is. They pretty much said that the verdict was a compromise, and that's got to be enough right there, I believe, to be for a retrial.
To me, that is it. That is enough right now. That development yesterday on the Today Show is enough, and I'll have to talk to some legal experts on this, but will be enough for a new trial. But then again, think about it. There have been how many countless things during this whole process that would be worthy of throwing out a verdict or at least a new trial or I mean, it's just been crazy what has been allowed here.
Exactly. I mean, how many times were you watching that documentary and did you take one single act of their corruption and say, well, that right
that's
there
it.
is enough to throw it out. That's enough right there to throw it out. It just keeps going.
This was the Donald Trump. It's the Donald Trump effect. Just when you think they've gone too far, it's just not far enough. Christine,
and we talked to that woman yesterday at the diner there who says she won't even watch the series because in her mind,
that's a diner in Wisconsin, right in Manitowoc County. So.
And she knows the parties involved, and she says she doesn't want to put the parents through this again. She doesn't think that the parents should be put through this. The family should be put through this. She doesn't even want to watch the documentary.
He's guilty. The other kid's guilty. And let's talk about the young kid. What that young kid went through, and to have his chance to have a retrial after everything that was admitted in episode 10, which is mind-blowing. He still was declined to have a new trial. Here's this young kid who probably did nothing but want to go to his 6th period class and take a test.
Right. That confession is just it's appalling to watch. It's those investigators. They just they're coercing him so much to that confession.
Yeah.
It shouldn't even be credible in court. I don't know how that stood or that did anything. I mean,
well, the most amazing thing is that when the investigator, do you remember when Manaski, when they had the investigator go, the attorney, this piece of garbage attorney for this young kid, has the investigator go in and interview him without the attorney present. they reveal emails in episode 10 that show the guy saying, we have to take this family down. They're deviants. There's incest. This is a horrific family, and we have to. It's a one-branch family tree, and we have to chop it down.
Oh, wow.
That, I
That's
think,
exactly
is
what he said?
That is the quote that he. Right? Am I correct, Curtis? That was in episode 10.
Yeah. Yep. That is correct. Yep.
So what is the general feel? Now you're in Green Bay, so you're dealing with more city people. What's the general feeling about this whole thing in Wisconsin versus in that community?
I think people are starting to open their eyes and not so blind to what to the corruption that was that went on before. I mean, the media locally here, when this was going on, they really did try to make it people believe that there's no way Stephen did this and they were guilty. But I believe now people are starting to, this Netflix series is making a huge difference in the area.
Yeah. All right. Listen, I'm going to give it to Andrew. He has a few questions. Stand by, Curtis. Thanks for coming on. And again, you can search it. It's the Stephen Avery Project. You can search it through Facebook. And as I said, just in the last hour, 10,000 people have signed that petition. Really unbelievable. Stand by there, Curtis. Thanks for coming on for us.
No, thank you.
All right, Andrew, he's all yours. We'll take a break here and come right back. I have to tell you, I didn't want to watch episode 10 because I already knew what had happened. And I'm like, well, what are we going to learn here? It's all over with, and you will be amazed at what you learn in episode 10. Mind-blowing. Hold on. We're coming right back at WIBX.